Pumpkins are not just for carving. There are so many recipes you can make with pumpkin, both sweet and savory. Here's some great recipes that aren't pumpkin pie. It's a little heavy. Oh my gourd. Oh, this is the thickest, creamiest mac and cheese. I'm gonna show you how to make a delicious fall harvest mac and cheese. What's great is this is a one-pot recipe, no straining needed. When I'm making mac and cheese, I love to use a pasta with a fun shape. That goes into my one pot. Next is 3 cups of whole milk or half and half, 2 tablespoons of butter, and I love garlic in my mac and cheese. Just gonna grate that in. You can also finely mince your garlic. And for fall flavor, about a cup of pure pumpkin. I'm gonna give this a quick stir, a pinch of salt and pepper. Now let's bring this to a simmer. While that's cooking, I'm gonna grate my cheese. This is a sharp cheddar. I like to grate cheese from a block. It always tastes a little bit better. We're not gonna need all of this. I'm also using Gruyere, which is one of my favorite cheeses. This cheese is nutty and rich. It's gonna be so perfect with that pumpkin. Give that a little stir, make sure nothing's sticking to the bottom. Smell that garlic. And this is perfect, so easy, all in one pot. Take it off the stove as soon as that pasta is tender and soaked up most of the liquid. Oh, this is looking so creamy and good. For cream sauces, I always grate in a little fresh nutmeg. Trust me, this is warm, nutty, and it's perfect for a fall pasta. Next, about a cup of sharp cheddar and about a cup of that Gruyere. Get that cheese melted into everything, and it's ready. Let's dig in. That hint of pumpkin, the perfect fall harvest flavor. All right, got some leftover pumpkin? We're making waffles, pumpkin waffles. We're gonna start with a bowl for our dry ingredients. Flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, and the secret ingredient for crispy waffles, cornstarch. Give that all a quick blend. And now, our wet ingredients. When it comes to waffles, buttermilk is best. Brown sugar. Brown sugar will mix in better with the wet ingredient. Glug glug, vanilla, and egg yolks. Give all this a quick mix. Our leftover pumpkin, homemade pumpkin pie spice, and then whisk in melted, slightly cooled butter. You want a lot of butter to make sure these waffles don't stick. We're gonna mix our wet into our dry. Waffle batter should be thick and slightly lumpy. Make sure to not overmix. I saved my egg whites for a secret step. Whip these up to keep your waffles fluffy. By hand, this will take a few minutes, but it's worth it. I think I'm earning a little extra syrup on my waffles now. Now we're gonna fold in those fluffy egg whites. The fluffier, the better. This is great in waffles, but also works in pancakes too. All that air in these egg whites is gonna keep these waffles fluffy and delicious. Spray your waffle iron, and a little secret, spray your measuring cup too. Every waffle maker's different, so make sure you're using the right amount of waffle batter. And close that up. Most waffle makers have an indicator of when your waffle's done, but the real trick is when it stops steaming. It's so tempting, but you're not supposed to peek. That's beautiful. To keep your waffles crisp, put them in your oven at 200 degrees right on the racks. And in my opinion, you can never have enough syrup. That is perfect. Here's how to make a delicious pumpkin ice cream without the need for an ice cream maker. First, we've got to mix up our heavy cream. Let's whip that up. This will take a few minutes. We're looking for stiff peaks. Look at these fluffy clouds. Perfect. Your whipped cream should look like this, but make sure not to over whip it. Fold in the condensed milk, just a little bit at a time. We're doing this a little bit at a time so we don't deflate that fluffy whipped cream. The condensed milk is gonna add a ton of creaminess and extra sweetness. Looks like ice cream already. Now it's time for the star of our show, pumpkin. Look at that pretty color. A touch of vanilla, pinch of salt, a splash of maple syrup, that's for Buddy the Elf, and a dash of pumpkin pie spice. Give that a mix and make sure everything is well incorporated. Oh my gosh, this smells like heaven. This really is my favorite time of year. Everything smells so good. Oh yeah, that is so good. I'm so excited. Now it's time to freeze this into ice cream. I'm gonna pour this into a lined pan. But we're not baking it, it's going in the freezer. I'm gonna cover this up. And that goes right into the freezer. Perfect. The longer you let this sit, the firmer it'll get, but I can't wait any longer. It's like a present. A gift from the pumpkin. This came out perfect and no need for an ice cream maker. Creamy, tastes just like pumpkin, exactly what you want for fall. I could eat this all fall long. Yum. Of course you can buy pumpkin pie spice, but this is just a blend of ingredients you probably already have in your spice cabinet. Here is everything you need to make your own pumpkin pie spice. You can probably guess, but the main ingredient is gonna be cinnamon. For my blend, I'm gonna use 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon. I'm sure you have plenty of cinnamon at home. Next is 2 teaspoons of nutmeg. And if you've never seen it, this is whole nutmeg. Nutmeg is so popular in so many fall recipes. Now 2 teaspoons of ground ginger. Ginger is warm and a little spicy, but not too spicy. It'll be absolutely perfect in here. Next is 1 teaspoon of ground cloves. I love the color, look at that. And finally, 1 teaspoon of allspice. This really rounds out the flavor. Just give that a mix all together, and that's all you need. That smells like a trip to grandma's house, fall leaves. Ugh, so good. The best part about making your own is you control the ratio of flavors. And you can make a small amount of pumpkin spice without the need to buy a whole jar. This pumpkin pie isn't dessert, it's a pizza pie. I'm gonna saute up some onion and garlic in olive oil. This is for our sauce. We just need to add a few more ingredients. First up, pumpkin. Make sure this is pure pumpkin and not pumpkin pie filling. We also need some tomato paste. Just a little bit to complement the pumpkin flavor. I'm gonna saute this just a little more to marry all those flavors. This way we're using pumpkin instead of tomato for our sauce. Just a touch of salt and a few cracks of pepper. To round out the flavor, some fresh sage just right at the end. Ooh, I can really smell that. I love the smell of sage. This is our sauce, our first layer. You've probably never had pumpkin pie like this before, and trust me, it's a treat, not a trick. Of course, we need cheese. I'm adding some cooked sausage crumbles. Really, any fall ingredient is gonna be perfect on this pizza. A little more cheese, never enough cheese. I like a little pepita seeds on top for color and texture. This pizza stone has been preheating in the oven at 500 degrees. If you don't have a pizza peel, use a cutting board with plenty of flour and cornmeal or an upside down baking sheet. I almost forgot, I like to brush the crust with a little olive oil. All that's left to do is cook and get everything melted. This looks so good. And I'm just gonna top this off with a little dressed arugula. Now that's an autumn pumpkin pie. Bursting with so much flavor. This is so good.